what are some of the most common symptoms you see in your practice? And then we'll conversely talk about some of
Yeah.
the weirdest things you've seen.
Yeah. I honestly, most of the time will see symptoms with perimenopause. That and maybe some period changes, but that doesn't always bother them so much. It's the I don't feel like myself. I can't tell you
Mm,
how many times on the phone calls, because I have, phone calls before they will book an appointment. That's what they hear. That's what I hear in my peri patients is almost can't pinpoint what's happened or
mm,
why, but it's the I just don't feel like myself. And once we pick those layers apart, it is a lot of the mood changes. I'm more irritable. I'm snapping at I hear that I'm snapping at my kids. I'm snapping at my husband. I'm snapping at work. And then it'll be like the brain fog. They're not sleeping. The irregular cycles will come into play, and then the hot flashes, because those in peri aren't always consistent depending on what part of your perimenopause you are.
mhm.
Sometimes in early it's not, or maybe it's right before their period that they're getting it. So that sometimes takes some more layers off when you're asking, or decreased libido. But a lot of them are just like, I'm not as quick at my job. I can't get to that
Mhm.
sleep, weight changes, things like that. But
Mhm.
really, it encompasses that I just don't feel like myself. It's a meh. I just feel meh.
I definitely felt meh, and
Yeah.
then right before the period, it was like Medusa. I love that you
Yeah.
said Medusa because, like, I
Yes.
mean, like, literally, I
All
could
things
have
were coming
turned
out of my head.
anything into stone. Like, if I like, my husband would be like, "You hate me," and I'd be like, "What?" He's like, "You should see the look on your face right now." I'm like, "I'm a person whose mouth turns up, so I've never had RBF, but apparently I had Medusa RBF when I was in the worst of it." So let's talk about weird
Yes.
symptoms. So what
So
are some of the weirdest things you've seen?
some of the weirdest things are internal tremors. And I actually experienced this, and I used to yell at my
Oh,
dog because I thought my dog was scratching and shaking the bed. And I'm like, ah, will you stop? And it took me a while, actually. And it was probably into my teaching on social media that I was like, I think I had internal tremors. And sure enough, and so women will tell me they thought their phone was vibrating in their pocket, but their phone wasn't in their pocket. So those are really cool ones, those internal vibrations. And I will get like the creepy crawly skin, or we call
oh
them
yeah.
paresthesias or pins and needles, but sometimes just like bugs crawling on them. It's yeah, exactly. I have heard also just skin irritability, meaning like they can't stand their clothes on their skin, they can't stand their jewelry on their skin, or even like their children or spouse touching them or hugging them. And like it's almost like when the nerves just get overstimulated and you're like, I can't, I can't deal with it. Stop touching me. They don't want anyone. So those I would say are probably the weirdest ones, that vertigo was a big one too. I don't hear it often, but I can tell you that whenever I know when my estrogen drops because I start to spin and I'm like, okay. But vertigo can be
Sister,
a big one.
and it's a bad one. And
It's
sisters,
terrible.
sisters who have the don't touch me, I feel you because
Same.
it's so funny. And I had a wonderful intimacy therapist from the UK, Juliet, on here like a while back. And she talked about how touching changes and like to the point where I used to love like little kisses
Yeah.
or like and I am like, if you come near me with
Yes.
that little kiss, I'm literally like foot to the groin, right? Like
Yes.
it's amazing how much change happens